In this podcast episode, Bill Gurley, one of the most renowned venture capital investors and an early backer of major companies like Uber and Zillow, shares his insights into the transformative power and challenges posed by AI. Drawing parallels with past technological and societal shifts, Gurley discusses the reasons behind career disruptions, the critical role of curiosity and fascination in personal success, the dynamics of regulatory capture, and the evolving landscape of innovation in the US, China, and globally. The conversation also delves into themes of education, policy, and entrepreneurship, as well as Gurley's own professional evolution and outlook on AI as both a tool and a disruptive force in society. Gurley begins by illustrating how technology waves disrupt existing careers, often brutally. He tells the story of Bjorn Borg, a legendary tennis player who failed in his comeback because he refused to adopt the new graphite rackets that transformed the sport. This serves as a metaphor for how individuals face AI today. Those who deny or resist the change risk being left behind. According to Gurley, the most dangerous response to AI is skepticism paired with inaction. Instead, he emphasizes that everyone should become the most AI-enabled version of themselves by embracing and learning what AI can do at the frontier of their fields. Reflecting on his investment philosophy, Gurley differentiates individuals from institutions, cautioning that both require distinct approaches. He advises individuals to ground themselves with foundational understanding, referencing A Random Walk Down Wall Street as essential reading before making investment decisions. He believes much of AI's impact is already priced into the market and warns against speculative bets on companies that may be overvalued. For careers, Gurley champions continuous learning and curiosity as crucial qualities, highlighting that fascination fuels not only perseverance, but also competitiveness and connection, leading to opportunities. Curiosity emerges as a central theme in Gurley's discussion and his book, Running Down a Dream. He argues that passion outweighs perseverance alone in achieving success. Fascinated individuals approach their work with energy and positivity, attracting mentors, peers, and opportunities. He laments the current resume arms race in education, where children are overscheduled preparing for college admission rather than discovering genuine interests. This pressure cooker mindset suppresses creativity and play, which are important for finding true fascination. Gurley encourages openness to less conventional careers where one can thrive if genuinely interested and persistent. The podcast critiques the current American education system's inefficiency, especially given the high per-student spending that doesn't translate into top outcomes. Gurley points to promising experiments like charter schools, KIPP schools, that when put side by side with public schools, show dramatically different results. He supports policies like school vouchers and advocates for personalized learning, where AI can assist in pacing students according to their ability, potentially closing knowledge gaps. Though the system is far from perfect, he urges more experimentation and awareness of successful models, emphasizing the importance of early curiosity over strict academic grind. Gurley offers a nuanced perspective on China, noting an unexpected cultural affinity between American and Chinese entrepreneurs based on shared values and stories. Chinese entrepreneurs consume American entrepreneurial content voraciously, while the reverse is rare. He highlights China's competitive drive exemplified by the 996 work ethic and a recent history of rapid poverty alleviation, which motivates many to pursue upward mobility. China's embrace of open-source software stems partially from a strategic shift to counter accusations of intellectual property theft, making open collaboration a competitive advantage. He contends that America risks losing leadership in certain technologies if overregulated, potentially ceding ground to China's more flexible environment. A significant portion of the conversation centers on regulatory capture, the phenomenon where industries exert undue influence over the regulations that govern them, effectively insulating incumbents and limiting competition. Gurley explains this concept using examples from the telecom and finance industries, where powerful lobbying has blocked municipal efforts to expand free internet access and slow-walked innovations like instant digital money transfers. He describes the inner workings of such systems as a sixth grader playing Michael Jordan in policy backrooms, where enormous influence and relationships shape outcomes. While not outright dismissing regulation, he is highly skeptical of government-led large-scale retraining programs or top-down approaches to job disruption caused by AI. Gurley discusses the emerging AI market, noting the intense competition not only among traditional tech giants, but also companies vying to own direct customer relationships, rather than merely being model providers. Anthropic, OpenAI, and other players lobby aggressively for regulation, which Gurley perceives might be attempts to pull up the ladder and protect their market positions, resembling regulatory capture in formation. He acknowledges that bubbles tend to arise during powerful technological waves because rapid wealth creation attracts speculative players. Nevertheless, he warns retail investors against trying to pick individual AI winners amid frothy valuations, suggesting broad market exposure as a safer bet. The discussion acknowledges that while AI causes disruption, some layoffs labeled as AI-driven are also about corporate efficiency rationalization. Gurley contends that those most likely to keep their jobs in an AI-augmented world are workers who actively embrace AI tools and become indispensable through their AI-enabled productivity. He distinguishes between AI's current capabilities as a powerful but imperfect tool requiring skilled oversight and the speculative future possibility of superintelligence, which he remains skeptical about. His advice is clear: continuously learn, experiment, and stay curious to maintain relevance in the changing job market. Gurley expresses strong support for open-source software, viewing it as an engine of collaboration and competition that reduces barriers, accelerates progress, and lowers costs for consumers. He challenges conventional wisdom around patents, arguing that innovation often thrives without immediate proprietary lock-in. Open source also builds a distribution advantage because users organically adopt technologies without sales pitches. He points out that China's embrace of open source over the last 2 decades is both a practical response to IP concerns and a strategic competitive move, further intensifying global innovation. Highlighting the potential of policy to drive change, Gurley discusses the concept of state versus state competition within the U.S. as a means to experiment with and identify effective governance models. He gives examples such as Texas's housing policy reforms that have led to falling rents, and Houston's notable reductions in homelessness, suggesting these successes warrant broader attention and replication. He notes federal systems can provide laboratories for innovation if policymakers and the public pay attention. Gurley also voices cautious optimism about private-public partnerships like Invest America and potential initiatives to reward teachers, suggesting both market forces and philanthropy can fill gaps where government falls short. The conversation touches on broader societal challenges, including economic inequality and a shifting cultural attitude towards work. Gurley contrasts America's current K-shaped economy, where asset owners prosper while wage earners are squeezed, with the immigrant mentality that still drives remarkable success through hard work. He reflects on how decades of cheap money and easy credit have distorted venture capital and the economy generally, while fostering excessive risk-seeking behavior. Despite these challenges, Gurley remains hopeful about positive change sparked by transparency, competition, and a recommitment to meritocratic values, even as political and media landscapes complicate progress. Bill Gurley shares his personal transition from active venture investing to new pursuits, inspired by the Steve Martin memoir Born Standing Up and the recognition that certain careers, including VC, tend to favor youth and relentless energy. He emphasizes that curiosity, fascination, and sustained determination remain vital regardless of age or field. Gurley's new project includes a policy institute focused on identifying effective policies through data and pushing back against regulatory capture and ineffective governance. He advocates for broader public conversation about real results rather than intentions in policymaking, hoping to apply lessons learned in both entrepreneurial and academic worlds to societal transformation. Discussing his experience backing Uber and observing CEO Travis Kalanick, Gurley explores the metaphor of startups evolving from pirates to the Navy. The pirate phase involves breaking old rules and disrupting entrenched industries, often leveraging aggressive determination and a willingness to challenge regulatory norms. However, transitioning to the Navy phase, the responsible operation of a large, complex organization within legal and societal frameworks, requires different skills and can be difficult. Gurley highlights that entrepreneurial success depends on unwavering commitment and the ability to outpace competitors, but also acknowledges the limits of aggression, especially when navigating political and regulatory pushback. Joe Lamont's Alpha Schools exemplify how AI can transform education by enabling personalized pacing and tailored content, addressing the wide variance in student proficiency. Gurley stresses the importance of testing and refining such models at scale and recognizes the potential for AI to close educational gaps, but also cautions against over-reliance given AI's current shortcomings. He welcomes experimentation and collaborative learning in schools, advocating that education policies be grounded in evidence and effectiveness, rather than tradition or ideology. Gurley contrasts American and Chinese responses to AI and innovation, noting American fear and skepticism versus Chinese optimism and aggressive adoption. He attributes some American apprehension to loud voices within major AI companies who emphasize risk and caution, possibly to foster regulation that protects incumbents. Meanwhile, Chinese entrepreneurs' insatiable appetite for learning abroad and an efficient state-market relationship foster rapid progress. Gurley warns that restrictive American policies risk isolating its AI ecosystem, potentially ceding global leadership in emerging technologies to China. Gurley recounts a stark example from the COVID pandemic. Germany approved 85 vendors of cheap $1 saliva tests, facilitating widespread affordable testing. In contrast, the U.S. FDA only approved 2 manufacturers who charged $12 per test and received government contracts at high prices, contributing to limited access and inflated costs. This situation, driven by regulatory capture, exemplifies how well-intentioned policies can protect incumbents and stifle innovation, costing consumers and society at large. Gurley reiterates that fascination, not just perseverance, powers meaningful and successful careers. He shares anecdotes from his book demonstrating how individuals have built prosperous careers even in less conventional fields like music production or niche journalism by following their passions. He urges listeners to seek curiosity genuinely, noting that the work often feels like play when one is deeply engaged. Finding that interest may require exploration and risk, but is essential for long-term fulfillment and resilience in a rapidly evolving economy. Reflecting on venture capital's role in fueling innovation, Gurley notes that prolonged periods of cheap capital and near-zero interest rates have increased risk appetite, possibly delaying healthier market corrections. While some view this as problematic, Gurley sees such capital availability as an opportunity for new ventures and technologies to thrive, including AI. He highlights that despite increased risk-seeking, prudent evaluation and awareness of economic cycles remain critical for investors and entrepreneurs alike. Gurley stresses the value of combining data-driven policy evaluation with competitive market mechanisms. He points to successful initiatives reducing homelessness, improving housing affordability, and fostering teacher incentives as examples where policy can make a tangible difference. By encouraging interstate competition and transparency about which approaches work, Gurley believes the USC can better address complex social and economic challenges amid rapid technological change. Gurley's book, Running Down a Dream, encapsulates his insights into the traits that propel individuals from modest beginnings to great success. He highlights high curiosity, fascination, and agency as universal drivers, offering permission to pursue unconventional dreams aligned with personal passion. The book has helped many readers pivot careers with renewed enthusiasm and is recommended as a resource for those anxious about AI disruption or seeking greater fulfillment in their professional lives. Throughout the conversation, Gurley acknowledges the profound challenges brought about by AI and societal shifts, but maintains a hopeful and proactive stance. He encourages people to engage directly with emerging technologies, embrace lifelong learning, and seek practical solutions grounded in experimentation. His Policy Institute and speaking efforts aim to illuminate effective governance while advocating for transparency and accountability, hoping to inspire systemic improvements that foster innovation, competition, and opportunity for all.